We're honoring the elder Julia, who is a great supporter of ours. When I say ours, that we had Storytelling Association back in the 70s, and I think that's the first time we met. So she was always part of gatherings and supporting cultural affairs of the Native Americans. And so since she played in the recent play as Gopher Woman, I thought I would tell a story that has gopher in it. But it also has, it's about the area. I'm looking over at Ayakach, and the Cahuilla call it Takushaki. And Taksh is a monster sort of person, powerful spirit. Well, this story, there was Crybaby, was the star of the story, and he would always cry for any reason at all, and he was would get on people's nerves. Well, they were he and his mother were at the feast house, the ceremonial house, and they said he has to behave himself. He can't be disturbing everything. But sure enough, something made him cry, and they said, well, he has to be outside, so he can't be inside. They put him outside, and sure enough, he was warned. They were warned already that Talks was around, and they heard a sound. They opened the door, and the boy was gone, and they realized that Talks took him home. She wanted a son. Sure enough, she took him, and they got home to her home, and he says, "Akwanit, are you hungry?" I said, "I'm really hungry." So she said she went and told him to get different things and bring it, and he would cook for him, and she made his meal, and it was all kinds of nasty things that you might imagine a monster would like, but it somehow didn't hurt him. It didn't make him sick. And that went on for some time. And one day, when she was gone, he was wandering around, and he saw a lady making baskets. He went over there, and it was Gopher who was making baskets, and she was there, and she was working away. And all of a sudden, he looked up, and she was startled to see this boy standing there. She said, "Hummy, talk to me. Who are you? What Indian are you?" And then she said, he gave her the wrong information, and she said, "No," he says, "she's not your relative," she said, "and don't eat what she feeds you. Come over here, and everything smells so good at her house. So you eat here, and then when she gives you food, turn to the side and throw it over your shoulder, because her eyes aren't good, especially when she gets here, she can't see." So they did that for a while, and then one time he was on his way over to Gopher's place, and he noticed there was smoke in the distance, and he had a funny feeling. He said, "Wondered what about that smoke." So he asked Gopher about it. He said, "Well, that's where you're from. That's where your people live." And he said, "I want to go there. I'm going to go now." He said she held him back and said, "No, wait. When you get there, make sure you have the people come to the big hut, to the ceremonial house, and put you and hide you inside there, roll you up in a mat and hide." And so he left, and she gave him a song. It took him fast. So he just went there, and when he got there, he told the people, called them together, and they hid him, because they knew something was going to happen soon. And sure enough, when Tosh came home and called for him, he wasn't there. And she went over to Gopher's house, and Gopher was there. And she said, "Hi, Nimite, where's my son?" He says, she said, "He's not here, Lion. He's not here at all." And she knew he was Gopher was not telling her truth, and she kept asking. And pretty soon she got so mad that his monster and started throwing rocks at Gopher, and Gopher disappeared into her hole, and she threw rocks into the hole, and there was another hole where Gopher came out. Gopher had a lot of holes, and this went on, and Monster got so tired she left. But before she went, she picked up a chipot, that's a flat basket, and rolled it and followed that basket. The people use a basket for all sorts of things. If you lost something, you could roll the basket, the chipot, and it would roll right to the spot where the thing was missing. In other words, it would find the object for you. So she followed that to the big house, and it rolled around, came around to the side where the boy was hiding. And she yelled at the people, Numite, I want my son, I want my son. And the Kaib cuts, they told him, "He's not here, he's not here." He said, and then so that went on for a while, and then finally the people said, "Come around to the door front, and open your mouth, and we'll put your son in your mouth." Because she's going to fly, she's going to carry in her mouth. So, but they had heated a big rock. It was red hot, and as soon as she opened the door and she opened her mouth, they threw the rock in her mouth, and she made a terrible sound and kicked the ground, and everything disappeared into the ground. All the village, all the people, everything. And it was very quiet, but there was an elderly lady with her dog, and they were wondering why. She said, "How come, she said, so quiet." She was wondering where all the people were. And then all of a sudden she looked down, there was a rabbit she thought maybe the dog brought it. But that happened several times, because the boys would bring her things, young men would bring her food. But this happened, and then all of a sudden the dog turned into a young man. Then she turned into a young lady. And that's how the dog clan came back. The Cahuilla have a dog clan. So that's a happy ending. And that's the end of the story.